All righty. Well, we are back again. And we are here. It's been a long time, or a little bit of a time, I think, since I've done a live stream on the channel. So I'm super excited to be back at it and yeah, to hang out with everyone for a little bit of time wherever you are. I think this will be really interesting and really fun. We've got some stuff going on. It's not our typical live stream. And yeah, we're just here to like relax, learn a little bit about lettering and have some fun today. You'll be able to ask questions, do the whole thing like we usually do when it's just me on the channel. Oh, but wait. Is it just me? Hmm. Well, if you've heard from social media, maybe you follow me, maybe you've heard that today's live stream is a little different because today we are graced with a special guest. And it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce him to you all now. So let's bring him up on the stage.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Nico.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, I've been hiding. Nico Ng, everyone.
Oh,
Welcome to the
definitely.
stream. I'm so sneaky. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. I still have a little bit of energy left for this live before I go to bed because it's 9 p.m. here in Manila right
Oh,
now.
oh my goodness. Okay, so you're in Manila, Philippines?
Yes,
Amazing.
yes.
Wow. Okay, I'm tuning in from Brooklyn, New York this
The other
morning.
side of the world.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. But the time conversion is super easy, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. So I love that.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
we've got Laura tuning in the chat over on Behance. Hi, Laura. Feel
Hi,
free
Laura.
to let us know where you're tuning in from. But yeah, I'm like super excited because you are the first ever guest on the live
Thank you.
stream on the AGF
I'm
Design Studio
super honored.
channel.
Super honored to be your first guest.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, he like wants to like hang out with me on a live stream and like, do lettering and like, hang out. That's so cool. I'm honored to have you as the guest today.
Okay.
So, do you want to like talk to us just like a little bit about what we're going to be getting into today and what you have planned for us?
Yeah, sure. So today I'm going to show you my lettering composition process. So I'm going to show you every single step of my process, but some of the parts are going to be skipped, like shading or filling the letters to be the boring parts. So yeah, you get to see like my entire process, and I'm also going to share with you the tools that I use to help me create my work the way it is. So if I create on paper, I have different sets of tools. And if I work on Procreate, I also have a different set of tools, which I'm going to share with you guys. Because without those tools, I feel like I won't be able to create something that uh, I'm happy I'm happy with. So yeah.
No, I definitely get that. Like, I'm very particular about like the stuff that I use, and everyone has their very unique process. So I think it's going to be really fun to see how you work in particular, and just like sort of like ask you questions and compare notes. So it'll be
Yes.
interesting. So yeah, anyone who's tuning in, feel free to ask questions. I'll be monitoring the chat while Nico works. So feel free to jump in with any questions that you might have for him as he's working on his demo today. So, oh, oop. and Nico, if you're ready to jump in, like I think we're ready. Like I'm excited.
Sure. Let me switch to my other camera.
All right. I'm going to go away, guys, but you guys are going to still be able to hear me. But I'm going to give Nico the spotlight so we can watch as he
Let
works.
me adjust this a little bit.
Yeah, that looks great.
Let me center it because it's gonna look. I mean, oh wait. Okay, is it centered or
No,
is
it
it?
looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I need to up the brightness? Okay. Oh, I feel like it's too bright. Anyway, so yeah, for today, I'm going to recreate this piece. The quote is "Choose to shine." So we're going to start with the sketches, and I'm going to show you the guides that I use to be able to create something that's balanced and consistent like this, as well as the techniques I use to add decorations and designs to my work. So if you guys have any questions during the session, feel free to ask them. Type them in the chat. I don't think I'll be able to see it, but Alana will be able to read them to me.
Yes.
So yeah, for my live sessions, I want it to be as interactive as possible. So I really encourage you to talk to us because yeah, the reason why we're doing this live is because I want to talk to you guys. So yeah, don't be
Yeah,
shy to ask your questions. Okay,
absolutely.
so let me hide this. Yeah, let me hide that. Okay, so we are going to start. So wait, I forgot the code. Choose to shine. Okay, okay, let me write it
Nice.
down. Choose.
That's always where I start. I make sure that I write my phrase out at the top so I literally don't misspell stuff or don't forget.
Same, same. That's actually my first step. I write it down and check right away if I misspelled anything because I don't want to realize that I misspelled something or yeah, something's wrong with like the grammar or what after I finish everything. So
Right.
um, I always write it down, and writing it down will also help you visualize how long the letter is going to be for when you're going to draw your layout shapes. So
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
After I write it down, I pick which words that I'm going to emphasize or highlight or draw bigger in the code. I usually encircle it like this. So normally I pick the action words like the verbs and this is a noun or an adverb or an adjective. Choose
Uh-huh.
to
Yeah.
shine. There. So normally I leave like the prepositions, conjunctions, the articles as support words. So we're gonna choose these two words as our keywords for the quote. And after that, I like to sketch some layout options. So I always start with a rectangular layout,
Oh.
and I make sure that I draw my words in the right size, like this. So these two are going to be big, and this is going to be small. And sometimes I like to draw in um, like quickly just to see the effect if I give it these size. So yeah,
Oh, just
that's
to like give yourself an idea.
yes,
Okay.
as well as like here, um, the what do you call this rectangle that
Uh-huh.
I made won't fit the letter E, so I know that I have to draw a wider one later so that I won't have a hard time trying to fit in the word. So
Oh,
there.
okay.
So after that, I'm gonna try something else, maybe something slope like this, and put the two here and shine a horizontal top and an arc bottom.
And you
Then,
just do it really like scratchy and like not really worrying
yes,
about like making it look super refined at this stage.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because um, the purpose of this is um, just to see how it's gonna look if you use these layout shapes. So let's
Okay.
try something like this, semicircle. So choose. Let's try a small ribbon here. Two and shine. Let's try a rectangle. Okay. I feel like I'm liking this a bit more. Let's just substitute some shapes. So if you're happy with the layout, you may want to try changing some layout shapes. Maybe you'll be able to get something better. So whoops. So let's try rectangle here and an arc top and an arc bottom. So yeah.
I love how you change like up the shapes. Like you're not always doing a rectangle. You're playing with like sort of the different kinds of containers that you're using, arcing the tops and bottoms sometimes, and just sort of experimenting like that.
Yeah, it's actually for me. It's a very fun process, like trying different shapes or containers and seeing, just seeing how it's gonna look like. Because um, during this planning stage, I want to sketch as many options as possible because
Mhm.
I don't want to reach the end of the process wherein I finish everything and then I kind of want to try something different, which uh, which is going to take a lot of time to like correct everything. So
You're
during
right.
this planning stage, I like to try. If I have an idea, I'm gonna sketch it out just to see it right away. So,
Hmm.
yeah, usually I sketch four unless I'm not happy with any of these, I'm gonna sketch more. But okay, so we're gonna pick this. So it's gonna be a semicircle, a rectangle, and an arc top, arc bottom. So let's start to draw the layout guides. So on the
Awesome.
new layer, I'm going to be using my composition ruler brush set. So it has um, different shapes for you to build your layout guides. So I always start with the center line. So just tap at the center and then I'm going to move it to the center. Make sure magnetics and snapping are turned on so that you could center this.
Oh, okay, that helps it like stay in place and like actually be in the middle, I
Yes.
guess. Okay.
Because I don't know, I really like to see these two orange lines. So if I see it, I know that it's perfectly centered.
Oh,
So,
okay, that's a good tip.
uh,
So if you see the orange lines, you know it's perfectly in the middle.
yes.
Awesome.
So the first shape is a semicircle. So here you have horizontals, arcs, waves, slope or angled, a V, and semicircle. So we're going to use this semicircle and we're going to tap on the screen. So what's special about these brushes is that wherever you tap it, it's going to be the center is going to be where you tap your pencil on the screen. So you could tap it directly to the center so that yeah, it's easily centered like that. So we need to flip this because it's the other way. So we're just gonna click that and center this and move it up a bit there. I think it's too high. So wait, let me lower this a bit. Yeah, perfect. So bring this down, maybe about here. Okay. So we need to draw the bottom semicircle, right?
Hmm.
For this brush, all you have to do is duplicate it and transform it. Make sure it's on uniform. And if you pull the top node, this is how you're going to resize it so that you're going to get that clean, we call this clean semicircle, wherein the distance around the area is always going to be constant. So yeah, with this you could size it if you want it to be really thin. You can do it like this, or bring it a bit down if you want something thicker like that.
Okay, so you're just adjusting it to, I guess, basically fit whatever size of letters you want to put in
Yes,
there. Okay.
yes, because we want to be able to customize our layout guides, because if it's going to be a pair of semicircle shapes, it's going
Hmm.
to be fixed at that. It's going to be fixed at that, and it's going to be hard for you to adjust. Wherein you're
Oh,
still going to get something that's accurate. So
okay.
yeah, we're done with our first shape, so we can merge the two layers. And on the new layer, we're going to add the second shape. So if you remember, it's a simple rectangle. So we have this horizontal pair like that. So I'm going to show you another way of using this brush. So what you could do is you could tap outside, drag it in. Wait, oops, let me zoom it out. Tap the outside, drag it in, and then if you hold it, you can now move it around. So let's say you want it here.
Oh,
Yep.
interesting.
Okay, but we want to resize this, so maybe here. Oops.
Was tapping from the outside just so that you could place it like better on your canvas or?
Yes. So
Okay.
if you want to be able to move it around,
Hmm.
um, yeah, that's one way you could do it. So just tap outside, drag when one appears, hold it, and then you can move it around. Because
Oh,
sometimes you want to be able to easily move it around, right? So
okay. Instead of having it snap.
yes, so
Okay, okay, got it.
that's just one way that this brush is designed to be used. So yeah.
Nice.
Um, Next is we're gonna close this, since this is gonna be for the word to. It has to be shorter, right?
Right.
So we also have boundary lines here in the brush path. So if you're lazy like me, you don't want to switch to like the pencil and draw and something like that. So
Uh-huh.
we have boundary brushes. So you just tap, tap, and then yeah, move it around, edit shape, and move it around like that. So if you see like the layout stamps, they have these markings right here. So those markings are helpful if you want to make sure that you're going to draw your shape that's centered. So if you draw the line at the one, two, three, four, the fourth on the right, you have to
Hmm.
draw it on the fourth as well on the left, so that you get something that's going to be centered. So yeah, that's why you have these markings on your layout guides. So when you're done, you can now erase them. I feel like whenever I explain how these brushes, I feel like my inner nerd is coming out.
No, I mean, I definitely wanted to pick your brain about these brushes because I don't know if anyone knows who's tuning in, but Nico developed these brushes himself. So these are like his own special composition brushes, and he's breezing through this process that usually takes me a lot longer because I do everything by hand and I don't have these like shortcuts. But Nico developed these kinds of brushes for us like digital lettering artists and people who use digital
Yeah.
programs. So I think that's awesome.
So next is the third shape. It's going to be an arc top and an arc bottom. So I pick arc 2. So you have four different curvatures. So if you want something that's really really curved, like the curve is really really big, so you could use arc 1. But if you want something that's slightly curved, just use arc 4. So you have that option. So I'm going to use 2, and then make sure I'm on a new layer. Tap it like that.
Mhm.
Center it till you see the orange line, and then move it to where you want to position it. Let's
Very
duplicate
cool.
that, flip, and move it down. So make sure magnetics is turned on, so that when you move it, you can lock it at a vertical position like this.
Oh, okay, so it's just super easy just to just shift
Yes.
down. Nice. Okay.
Okay, and then let's close the boundaries. So we're going to use the boundary lines and increase the size a bit like that. Okay, and then let's close it. like that. So here we have our layout guide. So let's go ahead and merge that. Okay.
Okay, so we have our whole, like all of our composition and the guides so that you can start sketching on top of this, I guess.
Um, yes and no.
Ooh, okay. Tune
So,
us in, Nico.
uh,
What's your process?
so wait, let me on a new layer.
Mm-hmm.
So normally the process will go like this, right? You're gonna sketch your letter,
Mm-hmm.
oops, like that.
Yeah.
But for me, if I do that, I feel like it's gonna be hard to make sure that the spacing is gonna be uh, okay, right?
Right.
So okay, let me erase that and show you my process. So under the lettering tools of the brush pack, you have here letter spacers. Okay, so you have different sizes. They're basically just different ratios. So let's use, I forgot what I used. I think it's this 5/8. Yeah, 5/8. 5/8. So what I do is just draw a line like that. Okay, like
I'm
that.
sorry. Can you do that again? That was like, and then instantly all these boxes came up.
Okay,
I feel like it was
so
one and then it became like a million boxes. That's
so these
amazing.
are stamps
Uh-huh.
like that. Just
Uh-huh.
one box. So if you want to make more, just it's like drawing a
Oh,
line and
okay.
then use your finger so that it's gonna be aligned horizontally like that. And make sure it's not too close together because it's gonna be harder for you to like move things around. So like this, and then we switch back to the pencil. So the purpose of this is it's going to help you draw your letters in the right width. Okay,
Okay.
so this is going to be like the normal width for your letters, but of course you want to extend it if
Hmm.
you're going to draw wider letters such as letter M and W, and you want to make sure you narrow it down if you are working with the letter I, J, the narrower letters.
Okay.
Okay, so um, this is actually like a grid. You can imagine this as a grid because for me, I like to practice my letters on a grid pad because it helps me keep things more consistent in terms of thickness and size. So, um, yeah, let's do this.
Susanna said, that's so cool.
What? Thank you.
I
So,
think it's cool too. Oh my goodness.
so for this, let's do the word shine first. Okay. So shine, letter S. So I don't draw the letter skeleton here. I draw it with the weights, but just a quick or rough sketch. So I know S is a little bit hard to draw. So my technique is I'm going to draw circles and then a horizontal line right here, a diagonal line, and connect it for my S.
This
And
is
then I'm
like
just gonna
super
add
like
weight.
valuable what you're doing right now. We're 15 minutes in and he's just dropped a major like bomb on how to draw like I feel like a very controversial letter. Everyone's just like, I hate the letter S. It's so hard to draw.
I actually made like a tutorial
Uh-huh.
before, like for step 1, 2, 3, 4 on how to draw S,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people liked it, and it was actually like a post from like I think a year ago or more than a year ago,
Yeah.
but it took me like more than a year to decide to make a guide out of it. So I'm actually right now I'm working on a guide, like a mini course on how to draw the letters consistently, like how I draw it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that's something I'm working on, like how to draw the S because the S is super hard to draw.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, like that's like one of the letters that everyone like has trouble with, like me included.
So yeah, it's just gonna be a rough sketch
Okay.
just to have the weight. So now the next letter is H. So I'm gonna give it like 1.5 unit, like if you see those markings.
Oh,
So
okay. So those are like your little guides as you draw.
yes,
Okay, got it.
so it's like you're working on a gridded pad, so
Oh,
that
that's
it's gonna
really
be easier for
helpful.
you to draw.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a serif. So I'm gonna add serif, and then I wanna style this a bit. Instead of just a
Ooh,
horizontal, I'm gonna add like a
fancy.
curve like that.
Very
The
nice.
next is the letter I. So you could either make it smaller, uh, or just draw smaller like this.
Oh, okay, so just like keep it to one side of the box.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the letter N. So the S, H, N, most likely they have more or less the same width. So it's not exactly the same, but more or less it's gonna have the same width.
Okay.
So we're gonna use like the full width of the box. So it
Okay.
is N like that, that, and then E. So 1/2 again. So yeah, because for me, I want to make sure that my letters are consistent. That's why I'm doing all of these guides, like an additional step for me. So there,
Hmm.
shine. And the next thing I do is I fix the spacing.
Okay.
So let's just erase these first, these two extra boxes. So I'm going to select this and fix the spacing right now. Okay, let's erase this a bit so it's going to be cleaner and move this. Okay, like that. So for me, yeah, I want to fix the spacing now rather than later because I hate erasing and erasing and erasing after. So,
No, it's true. And that's why it's nice that you're still like at a rough like sketch
yes.
phase where it's like you haven't put too much time into like creating super detailed letters, while you still work out these sort of other things like your spacing and stuff.
So now we're going to scale it up and then we're going to warp it to
Oh,
fit in that shape. That and warp. Make sure you follow that curve nicely.
wow. Okay.
Okay. So the reason why we're only doing like a rough sketch at this stage is because we're going to warp this, right? Imagine if you like finish the what do you call it? If you draw or if you ink it like the finished letter and then you
Right.
warp it, the weights or the thicknesses are going to be affected, right? So you
Okay.
want to use this just as a guide for now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the word for the word shine. For the word to, it's going to be quick. Then back to the pencil.
My mind is still blown by this like instant letter spaced boxes thing.
Let me hide this first.
That's
So
so
it's going to
cool.
be 1.5. That, and then just draw roughly so that we could just space this.
So all of these are going to be styled as serif letters.
Yes,
Do you have
serif
a
letters.
preference in like your work?
Um, yes, serif letters, but this type of serif where it's not just a flat line, it's
Uh-huh.
a bit of a wave. I,
Nice. Okay. You have like a special flair to your
yes,
serifs. I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
gives it more personality, I think.
Definitely. I think so.
Okay, so like earlier, we're gonna space this. So
Okay.
is it maybe like this? Okay, because I feel like spacing is a big challenge.
Hmm.
So yeah, I want to make it easier to space your letters properly. So now let's transform this and fit it into our guide. So right now it's okay if it looks squished. It's totally fine because we're going to add weight guides later. So
Oh, okay.
next, I think you're gonna find this interesting. So the word choose is in an arc. So what I
Hmm.
do is I just use one guide like that,
Whoa.
and I make sure that the size is, yeah, just right size. Okay, let's hide everything, and then I'm gonna start sketching the C. So it's like that, C and H. I'm gonna do it real quick now because I feel like I've been spending so much time on
Oh,
this.
okay.
And then O, because
But
I feel
what
like
we
this is the important part. So I don't want to skip this part.
Oh,
So,
okay, sure. Yeah. And
O,
we've seen how much easier the process is using these spacing guides and stuff. So that's
the S
great.
again. So oval,
Uh-huh.
oval, diagonal line in the middle, and just follow the curve towards the diagonal line and to the curve. So you get the spine, and then you just add some thickness to it like that.
I think we're going to get a lot of heavy replay at these parts where you're drawing the S's. Just like, how do you do
Well,
that again? And just like keep replaying it.
they could save. I made a post, so they could just look for it in my Instagram.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, Nico's
Yeah, like the
socials are
guide,
linked in the description box below. So check him out on Instagram. He shares a lot of different tutorials.
like that. Okay. So what I do is, where's my guide? I have so many layers, and uh, where are the layers? Okay. So what I do is, I have this brush under the composition ruler. It's the composition ruler circle. It's like a protractor. Okay.
Whoa.
So what I do is, I'm gonna make sure it has the same size as our guide right there.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. Okay, let me duplicate that and make one that's slightly bigger but still centered like that. Okay, let me just lower the opacity, and then I'm going to open the first letter and the second letter. Make sure I'm selecting the protractor, and I'll select the first letter,
Hmm.
transform. We're going to remove magnetics because it's going to lock into specific angles. So remove magnetics and rotate it. So you can space it. Like that spacing is okay. And then you show the next letter, select the letter H, rotate it so that we can space it properly like that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Open the next letter and select the O as well so you could space it. Because for me, like spacing affects like bad spacing
Yeah.
negatively affects the quality of your work. So I try to find ways on how to make sure that I space my letters properly and select everything and then bring it all back and center it like that. There.
Wow. That was like magic. Wow, that's crazy, Nico.
So, um, yeah, because for me, I've been lettering on paper for the longest time. I've only
Uh-huh.
started using Procreate 2020.
Get
So
out
I
of
think
here, only for the
October
past couple
2020.
years?
Yes.
Wow.
So what I did is, since I'm used to the tools that I use on paper, like the rulers, the templates, I created this brush pack to bring all of those tools here. That's why it's more comfortable for me to draw on the screen because I'm basically using the same tools. So yeah.
So that's what you use to develop this digital
Yes,
composition
it's
brush pack.
based on that.
How
And based
unique.
on my process. As you can see, the
Yeah.
tools that I use are made for my personal process. So, yeah, if
That's
you want to create lettering like the way I do it to get really clean and balanced and consistent letters, yeah, you want to try my brush pack. So, um,
fun.
yeah, since I'm gonna skip some parts like the shading, I'm going to bring the pre-made guide that I did so that it's gonna fit and make sense. So I have it here, letter skeletons. So let me bring that up. So basically it's just the same,
Hmm.
but let's use this so that it's gonna fit exactly
Okay.
with the final work since I'm gonna skip like the boring parts later. So, okay, here we, let me just show the right layers. Okay, so let's bring this down. Now that we have like the widths of the letters and the spacing perfect,
Hmm.
now we're not gonna go straight to drawing. We're not going to go straight to drawing because we want to make sure that when we draw our letters, the weights are going to be consistent. So I also have a tool for that because I want to make things really, really nice. So I have here weight brushes. So you have flat weight brush, small, medium, large, and you also have rounded or circular weight brushes. So this is what I use to make sure that my letters have consistent thickness. So basically these three weight brushes, they're just the same, but I separated it, oh wait, my tongue's getting twisted, separated it because when you're going to draw your weight guys, you're gonna switch from thick, thin, right? And if it's gonna be very tedious for you to keep on adjusting like the size. So
Oh,
um,
interesting.
yeah, so that's why it's the same brush but the different sizes. So for example, medium, okay. So what I do is I set the size. Okay, so this is gonna be the thin, and this is gonna be the thick. So for the C, I'll just draw like a guide right here, like that,
Hmm.
and then switch to the thicker one and just add like a small line right here so that later when I draw it, I'm going to use these guides to make sure that I get the weight that I want. So I'm going to do that for the other letters as well. So the H, I'll just draw like a vertical line like that and like that.
So this is also, these weight brushes are also from you that you developed for yourself.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's super cool.
Because excuse me, I made a ruler. It's called a letter ruler
Hmm.
for analog, and I use that ruler to draw like weight guides, some similar to this but on paper. And I just convert it into digital, and it's called weight brushes. So yeah, like that.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
next is the letter O. So you're just gonna draw like that. Make sure you follow like the shape and size of the letter, like that, and then like just like that. I'll just do this really quick
Oh,
so that
sure. We
I
have
won't spend so
Susanna
much time.
back in the chat. She said she's tuning in from Queens, New York. And I think we're still in awe about the little unfolding the word choose to be perfectly to the arc. She said that was very impressive.
It's like that. S. You want the spine to be thick, right, for the
That's where the
serifed
weight
S.
should be on the
Yes.
spine. Okay, got it.
So we use like a thick guide for the spine, and then we're gonna use the thin for the curves like that.
Okay, we're like 30 minutes in right now,
Okay.
and we're just watching Nico's process, and he's showing us how he's adding weight to his letters with his special weight brushes. This is so cool. I love watching others people's process. So I was just like getting you on the channel. I'm just like, I love like see how other people work. So this is very cool.
So yeah, these weight brushes they don't look pretty, but they don't have to look pretty because they're just guides for you to use when we're going to draw our thickness consistently because that's what we want, consistent thickness.
That's right.
So we're just going to repeat the same process. So for the like the T. So since we're finished on with this, we can now change the size to smaller, something smaller for this, like that for the T, like that. Just make sure that you, know, you position it correctly so that it's gonna be easy for you to use later. Like that.
And that's largely what this whole process is about. It's like making things easier for
Yes.
yourself. Hmm.
Okay. Because as learning artists, we know like the parts of the process that are a bit boring and tedious.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So I know like using guides is very important. Like it's super important. You can't skip that part. But
Right.
drawing them is it just takes so much time, and if you just do it real quick, the guides won't be perfect or won't be aligned properly. And when you
Hmm.
follow those misaligned guides, you're going to get something that's crooked as well. So
Hmm.
I want to make the process easier so that I won't skip that step.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, basically it's just the same. Let me uh, put this inside the oven like the cooking shows. So we put this in the oven, and then when we bring it out of the oven, bam, we have this.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Okay,
That's amazing.
so now that you have the weight guides done, let me wait. Wow, it's super messy. Okay, let us bring the opacity down a little bit.
It's
Okay,
okay. I can totally relate to like having 1,000,005 layers at a time and just like being a crazy person.
and everything's like layer 15, layer 16, 17, 18.
Exactly. Never naming our layers. Like, no.
The ones that have names, since because I'm doing this demo, I have to label it. Otherwise, I'll spend so much time like
Oh, yeah.
showing layers.
Hey guys, you guys are seeing this process unfold in real time. So that's great.
Okay. What's next? Oh, so now that we have our layout guide, our letter widths and our letter widths and spacing, okay, and we have our weight guides. This is the time that we're gonna start drawing our letters.
Oh my gosh.
So under lettering tools. So I actually have three brushes. So pencil brush, details brush, and drawing brush. These are the three brushes that I always use.
Oh,
So
okay.
excuse me. Wait, let me take a sip of water first.
Oh yeah, you're doing great, Nico. Take a sip.
Okay. So yeah, I use the pencil brush for the sketches, quick sketches, and the planning
Hmm.
that you saw earlier. Details brush, I use that when I add details to the letters and the decorations, which I'll use later.
Hmm.
And drawing brush just to draw the letters. So this brush has a little bit of texture. I feel like this is I made this brush to be, or this pencil brush to be, or drawing brush to be like an all-in-one brush. So you can,
Oh.
oops, let me open a new layer. So, excuse me, this is what I use to draw the outline of the letter. It has a rough texture that I really, really like.
Yeah, I can already see
And
there's so
also
much personality in that.
to fill the layers because it is also speed sensitive. So if you want something lighter, just increase the speed and yeah, you're gonna get something faded like that. Because for me personally, I don't like to color drop my letters because it's gonna look very, very flat and solid and boring for me.
Right.
So
Okay.
I like shading the letters, and I use this brush too. So it's an all-in-one brush, and it's pressure sensitive as well. If you want to create something thin and something thick, so yeah,
That's
I
very
use this
impressive.
brush. So I feel like I'm just lazy to make more brushes. So I just made one brush that does everything.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think that's a great idea, like an all-in-one. Like I
Yeah.
totally relate to like wanting to have one that can just do it all.
So now we are going to draw our letter C. So I'm going to use the oval, and then just position it, make sure that it's going to follow the guide. Yeah, it doesn't have to follow perfectly. So if you can see, we have covered like thickness, I mean the thin part with
Uh-huh.
just this brush. So we don't need to add thickness to the thin parts. And now we could just like draw the thick part right here. So I'm making sure that it's going to be this thick. But since this is a curved part, I'm going to extend this a little bit so that it won't look thinner. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
like overshoot, right? Some optical
Exactly.
adjustments that you have to make. Okay, like that.
Yeah, we got to trick
Okay,
our eyes sometimes. That's cool.
yes. As well as with the curved part right here, I drew it like a little bit over the guide just
Mm-hmm.
for overshoot. And we're gonna add serif here, and I like to use like a curve wave like that. It's a simple way to add like personality to your letters.
Yeah, I used to think serifs were so stuffy and like formal
Yes.
and boring, and then I just like I've seen like so many different people like drawing their serifs in all these cool ways, and I'm like, serifs are where it's at. Like I was so wrong.
Because I feel like our idea of serif is Times New Roman. I don't know.
Exactly, like that's what goes into your mind instantly when you think of
Yes,
serif, and it's like, boring, like school reports and essays or
yes.
something. Like,
So yeah, we're gonna draw like the stamps of the H, and we're just gonna follow the weight guide so that we have the that consistent thickness.
oh, that's
And then we
wonderful.
add our serifs like this.
Hmm.
I'll just do this quickly, like that.
So do you like draw like any inspiration from like books or things that you see around your area, or do you just kind of sort of develop stuff on your own or something?
I feel like it's call this the result of my influence
Hmm.
in like I feel like even growing up,
Hmm.
like in our house we have a lot of like leaf designs with like curvy and wavy patterns, like on
Uh-huh.
tiles, on bed frames, and everywhere. Like I always see this wave in like the different design elements of things around me growing up.
Uh-huh.
So lately I realized that that's the reason, maybe that's the reason why whenever I do brush calligraphy before, I like to add like a wave like this. And this is because it's something that I've been seeing all my life. So I feel
Right.
like that has an influence. So I like drawing like this wave. Before, when I used to do doodles, I always have like a wave, something that has this shape as well. So I feel like I've been doing this shape for so long, and I just thought maybe I'll try it on a serif as well. So
That's so
instead of
cool.
horizontal, yeah, I just tried and tried and tried until I get something that looks nice because you don't get it on the first try right
Hmm.
away.
Yeah.
So
That's very cool. Inspiration is everywhere. And it's, I guess that shape has been following you around your whole
yes,
life, kind of. So it sort of entered your subconscious. That's so cool.
so yeah, and then we can draw like thick part, and then yeah, so we're just gonna draw the letters following the guides. So
Yeah. And it's so much easier because you did all of that prep with
yes,
your weights and everything. So you don't have to guess at all.
and it becomes more relaxing for me. So
Okay. Yeah. This is the part where you can kind of cruise
yeah,
and yeah.
but now I can't because we have a time limit. So
Oh, you're so
I
funny. You're just
can't
like, okay, no, I can't relax.
I can't spend 2 hours doing this right now. So so basically that's the idea. Just gonna follow the guide. So if you don't want to snap like the shape, like make it like a clean ellipse or curve shape using Procreate's Smart Shape. Is that what do you call it? Smart Shape?
Oh, I don't remember, but yeah, something like that. Quick shape or
So
smart shape,
yeah,
something like that.
you could just draw it by hand, but make sure that you follow the guides
Hmm.
so that you're gonna get something consistent like that.
Since you came from creating like analog for so long, do you still create that way? Do you prefer doing things in Procreate nowadays or?
I prefer drawing on Procreate now just because I can draw while I'm lying down. I don't have to be sitting on a table
Okay, yeah, the backlight helps. Yeah. Uh-huh.
like that. So yeah, just follow the guides so that you can see like the thick parts are all consistent because you followed the weight guides.
Wonderful.
So yeah, I'm not gonna draw um, everything so that we have time for questions later.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna put this into the oven. I'm gonna repeat like the same process, drawing the letters, following the weight guides
Hmm.
and the layout guides, all the guides, basically all the guides that
Yeah.
I did. Just follow all of them, and then wait, where is it? Oh, here. Ta-da! You have something. like this.
Beautiful.
Of course, this looks cleaner than the one I just drew because I spent way more time trying to do this cleanly. So there.
Awesome. So this would be like the first, like the base level of the lettering, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Because for
Nice.
my process, I add colors, designs at the end. So I always work with black and white because for me, I want to make sure that my lettering itself is is good enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's nice. So yeah, that's why it's just black and white so that I'll be able to see if I made some mistakes and
Mm-hmm.
try to correct it. Because if I use colors and added designs right away, it's gonna be harder for me to spot things that I need to refine or adjust.
Okay. That's
And
good.
yeah, because I really want to focus on creating a really, really nice and clean letter form. So that's
Okay.
just my process. So
Awesome.
after this, okay, let me just put this up right there and hide the other layers. Okay, so next step for me is to design this and to decorate it.
Ooh.
So on a new layer, this is where I use the details brush. So I'm going to use that. And for me, after the lettering, I'm going to add designs. So, excuse me. So I'm going to add designs to the letters and I'm going to add some decorations. So my go-to decorations or designs
Mm-hmm.
is a simple inline design, just like that. As simple as drawing a line inside. I feel like it's super easy and it adds so much to your work.
Yeah, just like a single stroke elevates it so much.
And I'm using the details brush since it is pressure sensitive. My personal style is I like to start thin and add more pressure in the middle and go back light like that.
Ah, okay,
So
okay.
that it's a little bit more interesting. It's not like just one straight line.
Okay.
That's mono weight. So that's just my personal style or personal
Awesome.
preference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we're adding our details and decorations. Nico is showing us his process in Procreate, and he's using his special details brush.
I think I used a different design on the sample. So let
Oh
me
no,
put the
I
feet
think it's
first.
cool. We get to see it kind of two ways
Uh,
in a
I
way.
added a dot.
Oh, okay.
Added that's a dot so that it's not the same for all of the letters or all of the words.
Okay.
So
We've got 15 minutes left.
okay, that okay a dot.
I think that's so cool. Like just seeing it two different ways is very interesting. Like that might I don't think that would have really occurred to me to sort of try it that way. So I think that's kind of cool to see it expressed in both ways.
Actually, for my process as well. Um, Usually, especially when I work on analog, I have like another sheet of paper beside me.
Oh,
So when I am trying to decide what design or what yeah, how to design my letters, I would like draw it on the sheet of paper first,
right.
and yeah, try different designs to it, as well as try the marker first. So I always have like a separate sheet of paper so that I'm gonna test the marker first if it has enough ink,
Oh,
something like that.
exactly, right?
So, but with Procreate, I could just like add a new layer and then yeah, add a new layer and try different styles. So maybe, whoops, maybe I switched to that. So I could try different designs easily. So
Oh, that's so pretty.
I'm using the details brush. See, it's all in one.
I was about to say, I'm like, you get all of these different effects just by using that one brush. That's so cool.
And if you want to draw as well, create something.
Does anybody in the chat have a favorite? kind of way that he's decorating these? You like the shading or like the fine line work, or because I don't know, I think I've kind of fallen for this sort of gradient shading kind of thing from the bottom. That's so pretty.
So yeah, it's like this. I would normally try like different designs.
Uh-huh.
Try different designs. And then, as you can see, like each stamp has different designs. So
Yeah.
normally, that's what I would do. I don't know.
But you would never necessarily make each letter decorated in a different way like this
Yeah,
usually. You want it to be consistent.
it's just to try out some ideas.
Okay, this
So
is just a test. Got it.
yes, because yeah, I mean, if I have time and if I'm not lazy, I'm always lazy. I would test out different designs. Otherwise, I'll just go to my go-to designs like the inline with a dot. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's what I do with Procreate, and then I don't delete. I just like to hide the layers.
Yeah.
So
I don't
yeah,
commit to deleting layers like
me
ever. I just hide everything.
unless I reach the maximum
Oh, right. Yeah, unless
layer
you
count.
yeah, let us know
Okay,
if you can relate to hitting that max layer count. It hurts every time.
like that. And if you want to make it straight, so you could also like hold it down. So you could make it straight, and if you edit shape, you could move it. If you want it to be like really in the center, so
Oh,
you could do
okay.
that as well.
If you get really particular,
Yes.
very cool.
But for me, I use the excuse of since this is hand lettering well, on screen, it's okay to have imperfections. It makes it look more human,
I think
made by a
that's
human
very
person.
important. That's extremely important as digital artists. It's just like you don't want it to look super digital because then yeah, you lose some of that fun and that personality of the hand done, work.
Yeah, you don't want it to look like it's just a font. Like just type it down.
Exactly, right? Oh geez. It's just like, so you're drawing a font, and it's just like, oh, not exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, this is my process, and after that, after I usually add a design inside the letters as well as outside. So for the outside one layer, I just like to add like a line shadow. So just imagine like adding like a 3D effect, but it's just a line.
Okay. So
Because
as
for
opposed to like
me,
doing like a extruded like shadow or something like that where
yes,
it's connected to the base of the letters, yeah.
because for me, like again, I'm lazy, and this is like a super simple way to add depth to your work. So
Yeah.
it doesn't look flat anymore, but just adding like simple lines like that. And I'm using my what do I call this? My details brush.
Hmm.
Oops.
I can't believe you've been doing all of this decorating and stuff with just one brush.
When you're lazy, you'll find a way.
Designed with the lazy lettering artist in mind.
All products they solve a problem, right?
Hmm.
The problem that my brushes solve is laziness.
I
That.
love that.
So yeah, I mean, it's the process is the same for all. So I'm gonna put this into the oven again, and then let me hide this inline shadow. Let's bring it up there. So
Wow.
look at that. So from this, something that
Beautiful.
looks flat, by adding line shadow, it
Hmm.
brings. I mean, I think it gives it life, a little bit of life.
Yeah, it already pops off the screen more.
just
Just
lines,
lines.
right? You
Yeah,
wouldn't
just with
imagine
lines.
a simple line can do that.
Yeah.
And the inline design, it doesn't look flat or empty anymore.
Yeah.
So after that, my next step is to decorate it. Because of my personal style, if you're familiar with my work, I want to fill every single space with some leaf illustrations because that's my style. So I don't like to have like these, what do you call it? These white space.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I want to fill everything. And I use decorations to give it like a final form. So yeah, that's
Oh,
what
how
I do.
interesting.
Let me bring this up. Oops. As you can see, it's like forming like a round shape.
Uh-huh.
So excuse me. So it's like a badge. You want to have like a final form to your lettering. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my personal style, and I use that do that with decoration. So um, I have here in the what do you call this in the brush pack. I have two brush sets here: leaf stamps and leaf shapes. So if you're lazy like
Nico thought
me,
of everything, guys. He even
you
has them for the lead.
just tap it. Just tap and then move it to where you want and just erase the ones that you don't want. So yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh my God.
But if you're just a little bit lazy, you have just the stems. So you could wait, let me just put it here. Stamp in the stems and
Uh-huh.
add the leaves yourself.
Oh, okay. So there's different
So
levels of laziness.
yes, different levels of laziness.
That's great.
So yeah, you have a lot of different options to choose from. The reason why I added just the stem is because it's not always going to fit, right? If you have this space and if you use the stamp, so sometimes it's going to be hard for you to like find the right position for
Mm-hmm.
it. Excuse me. So that's why I made just the stem. So you could just like tap in this reset, tap in the stem and just move it. It's going to be easier for you to position your leaf designs.
Okay.
It's just a stem.
Yeah, then you
Excuse
can
me.
add whatever level of customization you want or need for whatever particular piece you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
That's really
So,
nice.
um, yeah, if we let's say we chose to do this,
We've got our last five
and
minutes coming up,
okay,
Nico.
I'm gonna hurry up. So, it's tiring to like add leaves, right?
I know, yeah.
So, lazy me, we have this leaf shapes brush set here, so that you have different leaf designs that you could just choose this. You could just tap, 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 and tap.
What?
So this brush, these brushes are designed wherein where you tap, it's gonna start there. So if you tap
Oh,
this
that's
point, it's gonna start
perfect.
there, so that you can easily like position it. Because if it's not like that designed that way, it's gonna be hard for you to like estimate where you should tap to get
Exactly. I think that's my
proper.
biggest problem sometimes. Yeah, it's like, and then I have to twist it a million times or like,
Yes.
oh my goodness, that's
So for
perfect.
this, yeah, it starts where you tap and it goes to like direction where your pencil is pointing. So if you want
Wow.
something going there, point there, like
And
that.
you designed this brush yourself
Yes.
and like all these special
Yes.
quirks. Oh my goodness.
All of the brushes that I use are from the same pack.
That's amazing.
Excuse me. So another thing is, um, if it's a stamp, won't all of the leaves look alike? That's a question, right?
Ah, haha.
So with this, it is pressure sensitive as well. So you could tap, press harder, and you could get different sizes. And it also flips. So if you see, it flipped here, and yeah, it flipped. it's gonna flip randomly. So even if you're using like the same uh, stamp, it's just the same leaf,
Hmm.
but this brush is designed to make sure that it's not gonna be super obvious that you're just using the same stamps.
Right.
So yeah, as well as it has some texture to it, which gives it a little bit more differentiation as well from the other
Absolutely.
leaves. So that is, yeah, and then you could choose like different shapes like that, small. You could mix and match different shapes as well. Maybe like that.
Wow.
So let me show you how I'm going to decorate this quick. So sometimes I use stems. Sometimes I just add loose
Okay.
leaves. Okay, wrong grammar. Leaves. Okay. Uh, so that's what I'm gonna do. So just gonna tap like that, tap.
Katharina is saying hello. Hello, Katharina. Let us know
Hello.
where you're tuning in from.
And you can switch to different what is- different brushes. You could mix and match.
Oh, that's
It's like
so
just
pretty.
filling in, oops, the spaces. Let's make it smaller. Excuse me. Okay, like that. And you just like switch brushes and just tap until you fill the entire thing. So, but before that, normally I would bring back my layout shape, my guide right here, so that I
Oh.
know that I'm gonna add just up to this section and up to this section so that I can still have that final form that I mentioned earlier. So just tap. When you're done with that, I always add details because it's gonna look very flat, just
Uh-huh.
like with the letters. So I'm gonna use the details brush on white and on a new layer right here, clipping mask, and then just draw the veins. Or
Katharina is tuning in from Vienna and
oh,
says it's looking great already.
thank you. Yeah, I'm just gonna add details like that to the leaf so that it doesn't look too flat. So I'm gonna put this into the oven and ding. Oops, clicking master turn on there.
Wow, so
So it's that
beautiful.
and add details. And after that, other details that I always add are rays and sparkles like that. Okay.
Oh, pretty. Okay.
And one wait, let me just hide the background. Wait, okay, the guy. And one what else? And I use the what do you call this, the protractor to um, make sure that my rays have like my rays will form that shape because yeah, I mentioned I want to give it like a final form. So I use the protractor to make sure that my rays are within the area and it's pointing to the right direction because with rays you want to make sure that it has like a focal point, otherwise it's not going to make sense. So I use
Oh.
this protractor so that when I draw I'll always remember to make sure that it's supposed to point towards the center like that. So I'm not going to show you how to draw rays and sparkles because I'm sure you guys already know how to do that.
Yeah, we've run out of time at the
Right.
moment, but
So
this is so
uh,
cool.
we're almost done. So after that, I'm going to add texture. So there's also a texture set in the pack. So you have different paper textures. So what I do is, um, it's going to take forever if you do it like this, right? So what I
Uh-huh.
do is I zoom it all the way down and then shade like that.
Oh, so
And done.
you get more coverage in like a
Yes.
few
So
strokes.
that you
Got it.
have to like do an arm workout, adding the background. So yeah, and lighten it like that. And after that, I start to color. So add a new layer, make it black, and make this white, invert. Bring this up just a little bit here. And lettering, invert that. The line shadow, invert that. Inlay design, invert that. What else? Invert, invert. Okay. And then I start to color. So my go-to color palette is black, white, and gold. So what I do is I just, okay, this is what I'm going to color, the leaf snaps. So I'm going to pick the color gold, and then I'm going to alpha lock, two finger swipe to the left,
Oh,
and then
okay.
fill like that. Okay.
Oh, so
And
simple.
let me check what I did. Okay. Also, the the line shadow is gonna be in that gold. So line shadow, alpha lock, fill, layer like that. What else? Let me check again. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. So yeah, that is basically the process. I leave the coloring to the end because I want to make sure that I have like a really really solid letter form and that my layout is aligned and balanced. Because for me, like the decorations, designs, they shouldn't. I mean, for me, like they should come secondary
Hmm.
because normally because before when I started I used to use these decorations and designs to hide the mistakes. But for me, I want to make sure that I get like a really nice letter form, so I leave that to the last and focus on the lettering itself. So that's why
Nice.
if you watch from the beginning you'll see that I spend a lot of time on building guides so that I could get something like this. So yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness, Nico. What a treat it's been to watch you work today. Oh my goodness.
okay.
This
So
is
let me switch the
lovely.
camera.
Yeah, let's bring your face
Okay,
back.
do I look tired? Do I look sleepy? I hope not.
We put this man to work today, everyone. Oh my goodness, Nico. It's been such a joy having you on the channel. We have a couple of questions in the
Oh,
chat, if
sure.
that's cool, before we head out. But like, what a lovely piece. I mean, so
Thank
cool,
you.
so unique your process. And yeah, we've got a few questions for you if you've got a little
Sure.
time. So Susanna asked, how big did you make your Procreate screen to make sure you have a crisp design?
Okay. It actually depends on where I'm going to use it.
Okay.
So for me, if it's just for social media or for demo like this,
Uh-huh.
I just use screen size. Screen, screen size. Whatever
Okay.
the size of my screen is, because for me, I think it's enough already. So if I'm drawing my letters in screen size, even if I zoom it in, it's not going to be super, super pixelated. It's not gonna.
Yeah. Do you use like an iPad Pro 12.9 or something, or what are
Yes,
your
I'm using 12.9 Pro, and
Okay.
excuse me, sorry for that.
Oh, you're
Um, if I'm gonna print it somewhere, so normally I use 4,000 by 5,000,
Wow, okay. Nice.
and with it only gives me like 30-ish layers, so
Oh, geez.
uh,
Okay, right.
that's the only problem.
Yeah, that's what we have to keep in mind working in Procreate with the layer count and the pixels. Yeah. Her other question is a great question because it leads into like some stuff that we're going to get into before we wrap up. But are your Procreate brushes for sale?
Uh,
And where did you learn how to make the specific brushes that you wanted?
sorry, where did I learn? What's the second question?
So it's like, are your Procreate brushes for sale? And where did you learn how to make the specific brushes that you wanted, like for yourself?
Um, First question, yes, my Procreate brushes are for sale. It's on my website. You check it out, niconang.co or Nico, Nicong .co.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can get it there. And we have a special discount. Use this code.
Yeah.
And then how I because how I design the brushes. So first is I learned how the brush studio work. So I think I took a Skillshare course, and I watched some YouTube videos explaining like the different parts or different functions and features. And since I already have those tools, I just found a way or thought of a way on how to translate it digitally. So in terms of coming up with the tools, I could say it came from my engineering background because my background is not in design or arts; it's actually in engineering.
How
So
interesting. Okay.
I feel like I'm trained to make solutions to problems. So yeah, feel like my background in engineering made it easier for me to like come up with these brushes. That's why I'm not sure if you notice some of them feels too technical and too like lined and everything. That's because
Uh-huh.
engineering influence, engineering background.
Very cool. Just threw in a link to your shop. And of course, everyone can use my code AJF Design 10 for 10% off in Nico's shop. He's been so gracious to provide you guys with a promo code as a special thank you to you guys for tuning in today. I think that's so cool that you were just like, hey, I'm transitioning from analog and I really like my process already. So, how can I translate this to
Yes.
a digital landscape? I think that's super cool. You're just like, I don't see it out there, so I'm just gonna make it myself.
And I want something that's custom made to my process. So
Exactly. I think
that's the
that's
reason
super
why.
cool. Okay, that's so awesome. I think that's so cool, and it's like I said, it's just very interesting watching people's process and how it's unique because you might learn a tip or two. So, uh, this has been super amazing, such a treat. I'm just so blown away, Nico. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me. I'm really, really, really happy to be here to share my process with you guys and my tools.
Yeah, so make sure you check all of Nico's links in the description box below. I've got his Instagram linked, his shop. Follow him everywhere. He's always doing things, he's always sharing his process, tutorials, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you give him a follow and check him out. Anything you want to shout out or say? Do you have anything in the works? Any secrets you want to reveal, Nico?
Um, aside from more brushes, I'm working on more brushes that are still. I won't reveal what they are yet, but
Okay,
what I can share right now is I'm working on a mini course. If you remember, like how to draw the letter S. So I know there are like a lot of other letters that are difficult to draw, or if you draw them, it feels weird, a bit off, something like that. So
right.
I created like a guide and a mini course on how I draw my letters.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be released really soon, hopefully by next month.
Oh, wow, so soon. Okay. So make sure you guys are following Nico so you don't miss out when he announces that. Well, this has been wonderful, Nico. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today on the channel. And thank you
Thank you
to
for
everyone who
having
tuned in and anyone
Thank
who's
you for
catching the replay.
everyone. Yes. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions about my process, feel free to like send me an email or DM me on Instagram. So, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nico. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.